Heart attacks breaks hearts. According to American Heart Association, every 42nd a person in America goes through a heart attack. Last year alone, almost 18 million people lost their lives. That's 31% of the global death. Today in our studio, we have Evelyn Murphy. Evelyn, welcome to our show. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Evelyn will be speaking about how to identify a heart attack, how to prevent it, and how to overcome from it. You introduce to our viewers about your work and everything.
Yeah, indeed. My name's Evelyn. I'm a first aid trainer. I travel around Ireland training. I have my own training business. I teach cardiac first response, first aid training, manual handling. I do a lot of educational things as well, teaching people how to change their lifestyle and their diet as well. So a lot of my work is education and training within the area of first aid, as well as teaching first aid training.
So as our topic today is about heart attacks, and would you actually talk to our viewers how to actually identify, how to actually prevent them?
Yeah, I can indeed. So for those of you that don't know, a heart attack is like a blockage in the artery. So for example, think about your pipe in your radiator and it gets blocked with limescale. It's a similar thing that actually happens in the heart. What happens is the coronary artery, which is the heart artery, that actually gets blocked. So it's a combination of diet and lifestyle, maybe cholesterol that builds up in the artery and it causes a blockage. And this is what's known as your heart attack. Okay, so what happens with a heart attack is very often people are not really aware when they're actually having a heart attack. They don't know the signs or the symptoms of a heart attack. Some people think, oh, I've eaten too much, maybe I've overeaten, perhaps it's just a bit of indigestion, maybe it'll go if I take something for it. But that's not always the case. A real strong symptom or sign of a heart attack will be excessive sweating, a crushing sensation in your chest, almost like an elephant dancing on your chest. It won't ease up with rest either. No matter what you do, you won't feel better. The pain will continue to get worse and worse. I suppose talking about a heart attack, I need to mention angina here. Angina is the precursor to heart disease. Okay, and what happens there is very often you will be sitting down and you'll suffer with palpitations of the chest. You feel kind of fluttery in the chest, and you may not feel too good, you might feel slightly dizzy, but after you rest, the pain will ease up. Okay, most people with angina, it's medically diagnosed through a GP, so a GP will give them their spray. So for example, if you suffer from angina, you will carry your spray, you will take it under the tongue, and after a few minutes you will start to, the arteries will start to relax, and the pain in the chest will start to dissipate. With a heart attack, the big difference is no matter what you do, it won't dissipate. So for example, trained first aid responders, they're allowed to give 300 milligrams of aspirin to a suspected heart attack patient. So generally speaking, the pain won't really disappear. It will still be there, it will still be quite strong. The reason that we give the aspirin to the patient is to help with the clotting that's going on, because what's happening is the blood is building up here now in the arteries, it has nowhere to flow, so as a consequence it's actually becoming quite sticky and loopy, and it's not really helping with that blockage. So the purpose of the aspirin administration is to try and ease that and try and get the flow back in the bloodstream again.
Alright, okay. And before we start recording, you were saying about a personal experience that happened at your home where
yes,
would you share with our viewers about it, please?
Yes, I will. Christmas Day, many years ago, we'd all had our Christmas dinner, everything was fine, and my father started to complain that he wasn't feeling the best, so we put it down to indigestion. We actually genuinely thought it was indigestion. So he was suffering for a few hours at this stage, and we noticed that his colour started to look not so healthy. He was kind of turning an almost grey colour. He was sweating. The sweat was actually rolling off him, and he was complaining that he didn't feel very well, and he had pain in his chest. So as a result of that, initially we didn't realise that it was a heart attack, so we kind of didn't really know what to do at that time. We were very young as children as well, it was many years ago, and I suppose first aid training wasn't given preference
Yeah.
that it's given now. So initially we didn't recognise it, but my mother knew immediately, his colour's not right, there's something wrong, we'll call an ambulance and we'll get it seen to. And when the ambulance crew came to the house and they got him to a hospital, he was diagnosed with actually having a heart attack. So for me that stuck always in my mind. What brought me into the first aid training business was, we were very lucky that my father was seen to relatively quickly and survived that incident. However, in some cases people don't actually survive it. It moves forward into cardiac arrest, and unfortunately the person doesn't survive the incident. So in my case we were very lucky, and that always stuck with me. So that's why I'm very big on the heart attack and the angina and the cardiac arrest, for people to understand and know the differences between them and the signs and symptoms for each of those individual medical conditions.
All right. Like when we actually spoke about the topic, I did a bit of research myself, and I was absolutely shocked to hear, to see that according to American Heart Association, every 40 seconds a person in America has a heart attack, and globally almost 18 million people lose their life due to cardiovascular diseases.
Yeah.
And can you actually explain to our viewers what's the major sort of cause, or what actually contributes to this younger sort of population to lose their life at a very young age?
It's very sad now that there seems to be a lot of sudden adult death syndrome, and a lot of younger, say teenagers and those who play sports, collapsing on a pitch from cardiac arrest. I suppose the one thing I can say is that heart conditions are not just brought on by lifestyle and diet, but they actually could be a genetic condition that's in the family, so a hereditary condition. So my one advice to anyone, a piece of advice to anyone that thinks that this condition is in their family or knows that it's in their family, is to get themselves checked out and get their heart health looked at. Get a monitor put on you, do a stress test, see where you are. A lot of younger people are suffering now because they're drinking a lot of these, I suppose, sports-related soft drinks, and we really don't know the long-term effects of that yet. The scientific research is ongoing at the moment, so we don't really have a categoric, well, yes, this is doing this, and yes, it's not doing it, but it's definitely contributing in some way towards heart health not being so good among the younger people. It's a combination of diet and lifestyle, really, and that goes not just for young people but for us as well as adults. I know myself, and I'm sure yourself, we're busy people, so we tend to go for whatever's quick, and not thinking, my poor heart cannot actually take another, roll or or a burger or something like that. So my advice to younger people is, you are young, yes, and but if you start looking after your heart now and doing simple little things, getting a little bit of exercise, watching the diet, replacing your soft drink with water.
Absolutely.
Is a huge one. A little drop of water. If you can't drink water on its own, throw a little bit of cordial into it, something to make it more palatable. You're best off doing that rather than drinking these fizzy drinks.
And especially diet is another major thing.
Diet, with adults, children, all of us, we're all responsible for our own heart health. So for example, if we incorporate more vegetables into our diet, more fruit into our diet, less saturated fats, keep an eye on that. Look, we all have things that catch us. I know what catches me, and I'm not going to say it, but we all do. We all have our triggers that make us reach for the bar of chocolate or make us reach for the burger. It could be stress, it could be something like that. And I suppose the way I train myself now is to think, I might want that burger, but does my heart actually need it? Does my system need another burger? Can I live without it? Yes, is the answer. I actually can live very well without it. But it's nice, it's tasty, it's yummy, it's better than, the potatoes.
It looks great in the ad as well.
Looks fabulous.
People have been lured into these, big restaurants and everything, showing the fancy,
big juicy steak all done up and dressed up, looking, lovely, and you're kind of going, I don't mind a bit of that. But I mean, look, the burger in itself is not the issue. It's what is the dressings on the burger and what's around the burger, and maybe what's used to prepare the burger as well, and what you eat with that. So I'm not denigrating meat eaters or anybody like that. I'm just saying we just need to be a little more careful about the fats that we put into our body, because we can put in good and we can put in bad. Our body's like a car. Our heart is the pump that keeps the car going. So if we don't look after our car and we put diesel in a petrol engine, well, think about that for your heart. It's the same thing with your heart. If we don't put the good stuff in, we can't expect this organ to keep working forever. It will decide it's had enough, and once it's had enough, it's had enough.
So Evelyn, there's a massive confusion between angina and heart attack. Would you actually touch base to our viewers about that, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so angina is the precursor to coronary disease, okay? It's the early warning signs that something isn't right with the heart, that the heart now is starting to become diseased. So some of the signs and symptoms with angina will differ from those of a heart attack. For example, the pain that you will experience, or the fluttering in the chest and the palpitations, it will be less severe than the pain you would suffer from a heart attack. A heart attack, the pain will last, it will be very severe, and it won't ease up. With angina, the pain that you experience, it will be there, it will be quite strong at times, and your heart will feel as if it's palpitating, fluttering, for want of a better word, out of your chest. But the major difference is that once you rest with angina, the pain does go away, it eases off. It doesn't with a heart attack. It stays, and in fact it gets progressively worse with a heart attack. There's no easing of this situation, to the point that if you are on your own and you're getting this type of pain, my one piece of advice to you with any kind of chest pain, to the viewers out there, is don't delay. Get help. Call the emergency services. Call 112, call 999, get help. Do not ignore any chest pain, because it could be quite serious if it's left unattended.
Quite fatal, yeah.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask you, what's the one thing that the viewers would take out from this video?
The one thing I would say to viewers for me is look after your heart. You've only got one heart, so take care of it, because this is the thing that is going to take you through the rest of your life. This is the organ that's helping to keep you alive, so look after your heart and be good to it.
Wow, that's a wealth of information. And guys, if you want to know more about it, please go to Evelyn's website, learnhowtraining.ie, and there's wealth of information, lots of blogs about heart diseases, CPR training, and all this training. Please visit her website. Thanks again, Evelyn, for being in our show. It's a great pleasure to meet you again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
If you like our content, please like, share, and comment. Guys, if you like to be in our hot seat, please send us an email to admin@hirehood.com. Thank you again. Bye.